Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to go through some specific details on shipping, and what spurred this is obviously last week I did that little video. I shipped a 8-inch Sony PVM. I showed you a real quick way to pack it securely. All right, so that package made it perfectly out to California where it's being shipped from here. So you can see that that's a very long trip, and the packing method I used worked perfectly for that 8-inch. But I wanted to go through some more details because that's not really the same method you should use to pack up a larger monitor. Really, anything over 8 inches needs a little bit more to protect it from being damaged. I want to take a brief moment to talk about what you should do to add to the packing for the last video that will help you successfully, pack a 13 or even a 20-inch monitor. Another thing that spurred on this, besides just my recent shipment, is I was watching Retro RGB's Patreon and supporter video from this past week, and he had a supporter on there who apparently had some trouble with shipping a 20-inch monitor, and he had some questions about insurance and how the insurance works when you ship a large item like that. And Bob went into his experience personally using a secondary company to insure the delivery, even though they weren't the ones to package it. And basically, he had a terrible experience, Bob that is, with this insurance company. I don't even know that they actually ended up paying a claim for him. It sounded like they didn't. So today I want to talk a little bit more about the insurance side of this shipping and how it pretty much works across the board, at least in the United States, for shipping large items that are especially old, obsolete, and once they break, they're pretty much not going to be replaceable. They'll have to just pay you the money that they cost. Okay, let's start with this insurance conversation. The way that a shipper insures your packaging, it's not even technically insurance, according to the way that they term it. What they call it is a declared value. Okay, so that's actually different than insurance, because if you're buying insurance, that means you're in a contract where if something happens, the company that is offering the insurance that you purchase is going to take care of the issue defined according to that policy. Whereas with the declared value, they actually have wiggle room to deny your claim based on your packaging of the monitor or the item, whatever the high-end item that ends up being shipped is. And that's just, I know it sounds almost exactly the same, but it's not really the same. Again, the declaring a value aspect of it is you're declaring a value, you're paying for coverage, but that coverage only kicks in if you properly pack your PVM. For example, I use FedEx most of the time, but FedEx or UPS, they're using their own in-house payment program. So there's not a specific different company that's paying for the insurance. This is specifically FedEx or UPS that will pay for the damages. But you again have to have your item packed according to their standards. Now, if you go to their websites, both of them, they will give you some guidelines on what the rules are for larger items to be packed, especially, like a new box. The boxes have to be weighted, or the boxes, have to be rated for the weight of the item that's in there, and there's a weight rating on the bottom of the box. They're also going to look at what kind of box did you use? Was it double walled, or did you use 2 boxes? So you have to familiarize yourself with the correct way of shipping these things if you're going to take the risk. If you want more tips on how to pack a bigger monitor properly, definitely go check out the longer video I had from a few months ago where I detail every aspect of packing a very large monitor. How I have to use 2 boxes, especially with the larger ones, I try to use a double wall box on top of that, so you're almost getting 4 boxes worth of protection. That's really a big key on it. Some other tips, though, is you want to try to isolate that monitor inside your box, meaning you want to have a little bit of space on the outside of the monitor to move around. Now on that 8-inch monitor, you notice I just threw it in there on its normal way it would sit, the normal orientation like this. But if it's a larger monitor, you don't need to ship it that same way. You're actually going to be better off putting it in the box face down face down on the glass. So to do that properly, you'll want to have something in the box that's a couple inches of foam. I recommend recycling like high quality styrofoam from other packaging, such as stereos or anything that you might have that has old packaging. I used a lot of that in my last video with the 8-inch packing, where I slipped it in the box in between the packing peanuts. And what that does is that just is going to give you more protection, that if something hits the outside of that box, your monitor isn't in there wobbling around and gets up next to the glass and something hits the glass real hard, or something hits the corners of the monitor and breaks a piece off. That's probably the most common damage that you're going to see. So actually packaging that front of the monitor with at least an inch of foam packaging. I'm not talking about peanuts. I'm talking about thick styrofoam that doesn't really give. So if you do that along, just a little bubble wrap on the top to give it a soft cushion, and then place it on there face down, the weight is more evenly distributed, because if you leave it on its front normal side like this on a larger monitor, the weight is disproportioned, where the front of the glass obviously has a lot more going on than the back of the monitor. So the front of your monitor has more weight in it than the back of the monitor. Okay? So you need to have that face down so that weight distribution is on the bottom, and then everything else is pretty much even around the sides. And that way, most likely, they won't completely flip over the box, because that's really the only way you can damage it completely in shipping, is if it's shipped with the glass actually up, facing up, and it's on its back of its monitor, so all the weight is on top, and then you hit a bump and that weight just falls. It can't hold it. It can't hold the weight of the monitor and the pressure, and it'll fall and just destroy a monitor right away if it's shipped with its face up. So that's, again, just some brief tips, or more details on some tips on how to ship and pack your PVMs. If you're not comfortable at all and you're going to end up shipping just maybe 1 or 2 PVMs, and you're just like, I still don't get it, I still don't want to do it myself, always go in and pay the extra money to package it, or have the professionals package it. Now, that's what I mean by this is, you go into, say, FedEx or UPS, or maybe a smaller, small business that is a kind of a middleman that uses those shippers. Go to them and say, here's my value on this item, here's the item. Just bring the monitor, not packed in anything, and say, I need this shipped here, I need you guys to package it, I need it packaged properly. And that way, at least if they damage it, they're on the hook for it, okay? That means they're on the hook. If they package it wrong, which they have before, plenty of times, they'll package it and put it in one box. They are not trained usually to package CRTs, because these, again, obsolete technology that they normally wouldn't see unless you're bringing in a large amount of CRTs to a specific spot and they actually get used to shipping them. But nowadays, most places are going to just not know what it is, not going to be aware of the weight problems, or what areas of the monitor are most prone to be damaged during shipping. So they're just not trained. But again, you're shifting the blame to them, so if something happens, you're going to be covered. Now, if something does happen, and because I've had to go through claims before, I've had ones that have been covered, and when I was very early at shipping PVMs, I actually shipped one poorly, packaged it poorly, and it got damaged, and they did not cover that instance. But after that one instance where I had to basically take the whole loss on the PVM, I had to change my packaging ways, because I knew that somewhere down the road another PVM would get hurt and I would have to file a new claim. So ones that did work, I've had FedEx and UPS both pay out claims, but you do have to realize there is a lot of paperwork you have to do. So you have to go first and contact, if you're the shipper, the one who shipped it, contact the outfit that you shipped it through. You don't call like the 1-800 number. Go to the actual location. Tell them tell them you need to file a claim for damages to your declared value, and they will start the claim. And then you just have to check in periodically. They generally will make you submit documentation that shows the value of the item, or if there's a sale, you can show them the receipt, and they'll refund you if you packaged it properly. But the other very important part is, and this needs to be communicated to anybody that you are shipping a monitor to, okay, anybody. Once they get that monitor, they need to keep all the packaging that the monitor was wrapped in until they are completely satisfied that the monitor is not damaged in any way from the shipment. Because once you throw out the packaging, it completely makes any declared value policy null and void. So even if you packed up something perfectly and they did a terrible job of shipping it and damaged it along the way because they dropped it 2 or 3 times, if your person who gets the delivery does not hold on to all the packaging, they'll immediately cancel it because they want to inspect that to make sure that if you don't have enough packaging, they can cancel your claim or your declared value. So you have to reiterate that to the people that are getting a package. Say, look, all this is everything's perfect, except if something does happen, you have to keep the packaging, or it's going to basically null and void any coverage you have. If something does happen, and you need to get reimbursed for the money that you lost from the sale. So the right way for you to handle this, if you're a seller and you end up damaging a PVM, or not you, but the shipper ends up damaging it, is this. First off, you need to go contact the customer calls you, let's say, and says, hey, my monitor arrived, but it's damaged. It's not working right. Whatever the case is, you have to immediately tell that person, hey, no problem. First off, I'm sorry that happened. Let me call the shipper, set up the claim. But please make sure you keep every bit of packaging, okay? Every single packing peanut. Keep the whole box. Wait until, which can sometimes take a week, for the delivery company to send a representative out, pick up that item and the packaging, and then they basically take it back and work on the claim from there. But if you don't keep it, again, they won't even bother. They'll just say, did you keep the packaging? You say, oh, no, I threw it out. They say, well, I'm sorry, but that nulls out your coverage, and we won't even be coming out to look at the product. You're on your own. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Please let me know what you think with a comment below. If you have any other shipping advice or tips or any personal experiences, just leave a comment below on how your situation might have gone for you. But I'm Steve. Thanks again, everybody, for watching Retro Tech, and have a wonderful day.